Greetings! So, this is Future Verto. This video is going to be about an iceberg that we made by the Hungarian community for the Hungarian community. So, there might be a little bit of entries which might not make all that much sense, but that is why I made a video explaining most of them. There is going to be a link in the description for the full VOD, stream VOD, since I did this on stream. But otherwise, I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's just get into it. As you can see, we have a iceberg here that we are going to look at today. And, well, it's a very interesting iceberg because it is a Hungarian edition. You know, we have seen some on Twitter, like Brazilian, Argentine icebergs. But our own little small country also has an iceberg at this point. And as you can see, it's very detailed. We have Sushi the cat. We have Euphoric, Tornado, Cringe Peak, Verto. I don't even know what are these, but I mean, I know what these are. We will have to explain it along the way, I guess. So this is Sushi the cat. It's a Retina O's cat, as you can see. Here, it's a stupid cat, but very cute. I mean, look at that face. This picture is from the Limu edit, you know. If you're watching this in a video, you will probably see it in the screen. Yeah, the Higurush stream technique. So the Higurush stream technique is basically about a video that was really popular. Well, it's not really popular, but it has above 100k views. So it's... Why am I even wearing this? So the video has like above 100k views. So I would say it's somewhat popular, and it's very old. Back in the days when there were like no guides, no nothing about OS. There was no OS content creators or anything basically. Back when Happy Stick was the biggest OS streamer. So this guy, who was actually the top one in Hungary at the time, made a stream guide video, which was, well, it didn't age well. Well, actually, it aged really well. In a way, because Double Tap just made a huge comeback, I guess. So basically, this Higurush guy is just made this stream guide, and it's basically, most of it is cheesing, double tapping, mashing, so it didn't really age well, except if you consider that Hidamari no Uta is like, it's basically a guide for Hidamari no Uta. So, yeah, Lexion Minecraft Let's Plays. Well, Lexion is a fairly high-ranked player in Hungary, and his dark past is basically Minecraft Let's Plays, because he's a zoomer, so obviously he's going to have some Minecraft Let's Play dirt on him. But basically that's it. It's not much of a secret, that's why it's in the top layer. Finktam. No, nem finktam most. Ez most az entry. But anyway, this is about a New Year's Eve when the entire hashtag Hungarian chat just spammed finktam, which means I farted into the Hungarian in-game chat in OS. Everyone who wrote it on New Year's Eve, exactly at 12 a.m. Would be in a OS supported giveaway. And actually I got, the draw. I won the supporter, but I never received it, so kurva nyetlek. But anyway, moving on. Pending Hungarian maps. Well, we thought that this doesn't really deserve to be too low, because pending Hungarian maps is basically, every country has their own pending maps, and well, some of them are wild, some of them are really interesting, but otherwise there is no disturbing or hidden meanings behind them. They are just pending maps, and they exist kinda. But some of them are really some pretty good gems. I mean, the Booga Booga Choo Choo map was also a pending Hungarian map for a while. Layer 2. Most fun Hungarian lineage. Well, most fun is a Canadian guy, also fairly high ranked compared to Hungarian standards. I have to make that clear. He's part Hungarian, supposedly, and he knew some Hungarian as well. But otherwise, he's just a Canadian guy who has some Hungarian heritage. 6-7 digit communities. It's very interesting because there are some 6 and 7 digit communities in Hungary that's like so far removed from the core community that even the top players who, you know, supposedly know every active member of the OS Hungarian community, even we don't know about these kind of smaller 6-7 digit communities, which sometimes have quite a huge number of people in them, which is so that was one. For example, back in the days, few years ago, it was the KD Csapat. They were like purebred 6 and 7 digit players. They had a fairly active OS community. They had like weekly multiplayers that they were streaming and active Discord and all that. It was very wild, and we actually discovered them, like some of the top Hungarian players, like not global top Hungarian players, but top in terms of Hungary. And we just tried to participate in them. And it was really funny that, you know, some 4-digit players, how godly they seemed compared to these 6 and 7-digit players. And it was really fun. It was kind of cringe, but that was also the charm. So they have more fun than I do. Of course, that's their charm. They're so innocent. It's lovely. Alejo sniping event. So this was kind of a response to the H-Week sniping event. But we wanted to have our own thing. So we just grabbed one of the guys and we just, collected all his scores into an Excel sheet and started sniping him. I don't think we have all of his scores because some of them are really difficult and some of them are like, you know, DD hidden SS scores. Minden. Oh, how can I even explain this? After you say minden, which means all, you usually say some pretty outrageous and very offensive stuff. So minden, it's like you have to affect it. So hi, it's me again. So do you like this video? Do you not like this video? Well, you can express your opinion by hitting the like or dislike button, or you can comment as well. Ooh, give me those hot takes. But Verto, did you actually become like the other YouTubers who say this, like subscribe stuff? Oh my god, cringe, please stop. Yeah, well, it works, so. Anyway, back to the video. Euphoric on ranked map backgrounds. Okay, so Euphoric, don't tell us, okay. Snitch. Verto ranked mapper. Okay, so you don't see my maps in ranked section all that often, and you don't really see my maps all that much anyway, because, you know, I don't map all that often. And whenever there is like a mapping discussion in the Hungarian Discords, and I give my opinion, some people just like to blast me that you don't even map. Well, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, yeah, but I have more ranked maps than you because I actually do have a ranked map. That ranked map should be another entry in this, but that's not Hungary related. If I had an Iceberg of my own, it would be in it. So if you go to my maps, ranked maps discussion page, you can find some pretty tasty drama there. The McDonald's OWC incident. All right. So the McDonald's OWC incident is basically our first OWC appearance since 2011. So it was in 2017, I think, when we finally made it to OWC. And, well, we will have a different OWC entry that will explain some of it. But basically, we really wanted to try going to OWC since 2013 or 2014, but that was some unnatural forces always kept us from achieving this goal. And in 2017, we finally managed to get there. And the tragic thing was our two top players worked at Mcdonald's at the time, and we were all hyped. Oh my God, Hungary is going on. We are going on the OWC. How interesting it's going to be. And these two motherfuckers, the McDonald's guys, they just said a week before our match that, oh, by the way, we can't make it. Because we are flipping burgers for what, like $2 or $3 an hour. And well, they had a month to actually, make that weekend free, but they didn't. I even made a full opening from the My Hero Academia opening. I did the faces. I did the old style thing. I didn't even care that it was copyrighted. I uploaded it into a different platform. And then this became a meme that the McDonald's, ZXQY. This I wanted to put this deeper because it sounds so ominous, This is like a code word for some secret deep shit. But it's actually nothing. It's just basically that there are a lot of new Hungarian players that has Z, X, Q, and Y in their name. So Zioxis, Zexilian, Ziloxin. There is a couple more, but it was so funny because we just kept discovering Hungarian players with these letters in their names, and there was some global players that also had this, and it's like a global conspiracy now that Durgum stolen Nightcore maps. Okay, so it's like a lol cow in the Hungarian host community. He's like a 6-digit. He cheated. He stole Nightcore maps, and well, he basically stole some maps, edited the CS, and he just basically uploaded it as his own. And it's very funny because he makes it so as he gaslights everyone that, oh no, these are mine actually. But you can just verify that, since you can just go to the original map and see for yourself. The curse of Hungarian top 1. Well, it's basically that once you reach Hungary top 1, you have like 1 year before you have to quit. Right? You don't have to quit, but you just quit because there's some mysterious forces that just pull you on. So there was a lot of Hungarian top players. So it's not like we had one guy who dominates the leaderboards for 5+ years. Toshli quit like a year after he reached top 1, or maybe a little bit later. But after that was Higurush, who made the streaming guide. After that, there was Rudy, and that these are like kind of 1 year differences. Then there was Squaw. He after a year he was disowned as well. Then there was Araho. Then the Araho is quit as well. Then there was Lexion. Then Lexion quit as well. Then there's Keltis, and well, it's time is ticking. The time is almost there. The 1 year. Who knows who is going to be the next one? Of course, the curse of Hungarian top 1 doesn't affect the minigames. So, for example, I have been holding the Taiko Hungarian top 1 place for... How long has it been? I think I got it in 2014. So 6 years, I guess. The Danganronpa streams. Well, it's nothing really. That was like a subsection of the Hungarian community, a circle jerk, if you may, that had some Danganronpa streams with... Jugman spearheading the operation, and we actually played through from 1 to 3, and even the other one, the Disparate Children, I think. It was really, really fun. 5-digit relax hackers on a Hungarian OS tournament. Hot, you mean? Hungarian OS tournament is like a yearly thing where it's basically a Hungarian OS tournament. There's not really any deeper lore in that, but you know how it is. Even OWC has some cheaters in it, and in the past couple of years there was a big uptake in cheaters in tournaments, the tournament cheaters, and well, even a small country's tournament is not safe from this, except for only the lower brackets were affected. So 5-digit relax hackers was like 5, I don't know how much, but there were multiple people who were caught relax hacking on the Hungarian OS tournament. Well, these are not really professional hackers or anything, so they were fairly easy to catch. But it was like a shitfest, like it was crazy. Old Hungary #Hungarian chatlogs. There was a chatlog site that went down recently, and even that site could only go back to like 2014. And before that, there was another site that tracked this that's also gone for like more than 5 years now. And I remember always ego checking my name in the Hungarian chatlog when I was active in that. And it was really funny, you know. Next day I just come in and like, yo, you were shit talking about me last day? Huh? What was about it? Huh? But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that some of the older members of the OS community, most of them are not even active anymore, had some pretty interesting conversation in #Hungarian. Let's just say that I wouldn't want any of that to get leaked. It was just absolute cringe fest. Not even the 2014 ones, like even the before ones, like when even I didn't exist. Like there was some old people who really just grew up in their teenage years in #Hungarian, and that's some prime, you know, aged wine cringe material. Bring back Henny Slap moderation. Yeah, that should deserve its own entry. I guess it deserves it. So Henny Slap basically was that was a GMT, was kind of a reformed because she didn't before she was GMT she had some interesting conversations as well, but we don't talk about it. But after she became GMT, she every time there was some perverted stuff in the chat or stuff, she just Henny slapped. After that they became silenced because she had that power. Italian chat rates, oh god damn it, those are also the good times. So back then there was some Italian players we the Hungarians were kind of friendly with, you know. It was a cultural exchange. We were kind of raiding each other's hashtag, the Hungarian #Italian. We were kind of raiding each other's chat from time to time. Sometimes we went to the Italian chat and spammed like Mamma Mia and all the Italiano memes and tried to speak in Italian. I remember there was one time when I asked DT someone to translate everything I say into Italian, and people I talked in Italian just for the straight like half an hour. And there was one time when we spammed, you know, Unicode stuff when there was no moderation on chat for the straight hour in the Italian chat. And sometimes they came to the Hungarian chat and started talking, and even the bigger moderators, not just the Hungarian specific moderators, came into the chat and forced us, you know, even talk to us. Stop doing this. Why are you so? Why are you like this? Don't you feel any shame? Are you like a bunch of kids? Good times. Terrorizing the GMT. And now the Tornado tier. Tornado was basically just something that we spammed. That Martin should map Tornado. Because that was a map that he didn't map. That was like Tornado, the name. And we bullied that Ratin.io with mapping Tornado. So Rick Ripple scores. Rick, do you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about your Ripple scores? That voice, that scream. He's clapping. He's clapping while he's playing. This amazing. He's a very good player.
Tudok úgy játszani, hogy közben visítok, tudod.
Holy shit, indeed.
Mennyit játszott ezt a szart? Nagyon sokat, ez már...
Nagyon sokat játszotta. Okay, did it work? Did it work? Okay, Chusa Boost. That was a guy who was like a top Hungarian player, high accuracy player, one trick. And basically he just accepted money for boosting. He got banned for it, but he was like, yeah, but I got money. And, you know, since oath is oath, he was unbanned as well, like a year after. He had a particular hand move whenever he started the game. And we started noticing some, how should I say, aspiring players who had the very same hand movement every single of their top plays. And, well, that was it. I do that as well. Oh, really? Loctav gatekept Hungary from OWC. So that was like a conspiracy that Loctav didn't really like us. Basically, each year we couldn't make it the OWC for some reason. And there was always some sort of excuse, like some people not achieving enough PP, there was a lot of drama with Loctav, so it would be, of course you wouldn't remember all of them. But I know that was one year when we didn't reach enough PP, when we apparently should have, but maybe one of the players didn't register properly. I remember in Taiko World Cup we actually fought so hard because there were 18 teams, and Loctav was like, oh, but it's easier to organize a tournament with 16 players, and we actually made it so we could come as well on Taiko World Cup. Like we registered, we handed in our team. And we were told that we missed the deadline when we actually didn't. So that's why a lot of drama around Loctav and our OWC rejection. And that's why there was a conspiracy that Loctav gatekept Hungary from OWC, like actively. Whether it's true or not, well, who knows? Both side. Okay, out of context, it's going to sound terrible. But Bo is, some of you may know him as Gabor. Some of you may know him with a different name. He had a lot of names. But basically, he's like a lol cow of the Hungarian host community. He had some pretty outrageous stuff. And one of them was his, faked. Well, he was always back, and he was always back his antics. Verto spawns the picture on the official forum. Okay, so can I skip this? No, I probably wouldn't be able to skip this. So back in 2014 and 15, there was an active host forum when you posted your own pictures there, face reveals for all players. Get my then girlfriend's underwear, light blue, and put it on my head, take a picture and post it on that as a real life, face reveal. And somewhere in the digital space, in the Wayback Machine, that picture might exist. But I hope that's going to be buried deep in history. Alejo death threats. So it wasn't Alejo who made the death threats, but he was kind of threatened by one of the lower ranked players who was active in Hungary, the hashtag Hungarian at the time. So the guy was kind of, spamming his scores in the chat. He was like 6 or 5 digit. Wasn't really all that impressive anyway. And he was trying to get Alejo's attention since he was the rank 1, I guess. And Alejo just, told him that he sucked basically, but not this blunt way. He was actually quite modest with how he said it. And then this guy, this 5-6 digit guy, he just said that, come to this anime con and I'll fucking beat your ass. I'll fucking break your arm. Just come. And then that was it basically. He made some public threats against Alejo because Alejo dared to say that his scores aren't that impressive. Oh boy. Of course nothing came out of it. Alejo even went to the con and with some of the other host players, and he said that, oh, you weren't on the anime con, where were you? I thought you were going to beat me or some shit. Dude, I'm down to find someone on Mondokon Fight Club. Let's fucking go. Lost photos of the first meetup. So the first meetup was around 2014. organized the meetup in hashtag Hungarian. Back then there was no Discord or anything. There was the Facebook group thing. We actually, had a fairly tight-knit community back in the days. So we organized a meetup. There was a lot of pictures. For a while, the Osz Hungarian Facebook group had this header, one of the pictures made in this first meetup. There was like 20 or 30 people. Very nice. It was very nice. But I don't think I could find those photos. Like those are kind of lost media. Maybe some people have it from the old people, but it's something that would be pretty difficult to reproduce. Just pull out of somewhere. Maybe you can find it if you go down in the Hungarian Osz Facebook group far enough, but otherwise it's lost media. Legekko and Aleho accounts. So after the Mcdonald's OWC incident, Legekko and Aleho didn't have the best community standing, and they kind of lost interest as well because of this. So Aleho went over to Legekko and they just went to their own accounts, cheated the same score with the same stuff because they didn't want to have an account anymore. Everyone thought that they got hacked, actually, because they weren't the best standing in the community. So there were some people who might have wanted to hack them and ban their accounts, but turns out they just decided. So that's it basically. They are now unbanned, but even the people who were like the closest to them, like who talked to them every day, thought that this is just a hacker, but apparently it wasn't. Next layer. The cringe peak layer. So redacted, we had some entries in here in the Iceberg that we removed. So there is a version of this Iceberg which has more entries, let's just say that. I felt that some of those entries were kind of in bad taste, I guess. It would open up some speculations that might be just, some of them were just very, very conspirational, very personal. So I thought I would remove some of that. That's also the charm that there exists a version with more entries than this. Rohulk is part Hungarian. So Rohulk's father, when the Rohulk drama was going on, so Rohulk was doxxed in the drama. And it turns out that we got his father's name, even his name, his father's name, everything. And it was a very Hungarian sounding name. But I believe it was only his father that is Hungarian. Do that. So basically that's a lot. But Rohul, I don't believe he speaks Hungarian. I don't think he has any connection to the Hungarian community. He just has some Hungarian parents. But anyway, Fart. Can I say that? So Fart Robert. I actually made a video about this guy. It was about a year-long saga about my roommate in dormitory. If you are curious about this guy, just watch the video. It's probably up there if you are watching from the video. But basically, Fart Robert was a very interesting individual. He was missing an arm and a leg, I guess, partly. But he was a very normal guy in terms. I wouldn't say he was normal. Everything he did was not normal. So he did some random screams at random moments. Sometimes he liked to cook for himself, and he usually put in a communal the same trash bin. The trash as mine, and this trash would infest with maggots because he wouldn't take the trash down. Yeah, he was missing a leg and an arm, but he was capable of walking and taking out the trash, so it wasn't about that. He was just too fucking lazy. But I always told stories on Discord about this guy. I often raged about him because he had these strangest habits. And sometimes he went to work out at like 6 a.m. when I was sound asleep, Most of my classes were afternoon. Whenever he woke up, he just, draw the curtains of the windows. It was completely dark, so there was no fucking reason to do that. And, he got ready, he went out. It's still fucking dark outside, but not for long, because in a couple of hours, while he was already away, the sun came up. And I woke up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's not 11 o'clock yet. It's not 11 a.m. yet. I don't have to wake up yet. Why is it so bright? Oh yes, because fucking Fart Robert just drew the curtains again. But anyway, it was kind of a traumatic experience to live with him. If you are curious about more, just watch the video I made about him. Geomatic Gamer. Okay, might be a little bit too far down, but Geomatic Gamer is a name of one of our top players. He is reformed now. He's not that much of a zoomer. His name is Lexion. So, and he's not right. Like he doesn't hate his past all that much. So it's just basically this is just Lexion's old name, and it's funny that a guy with such a name became one of the top players in Hungary. Sziasztok, Bence vagyok. Busztábla. Okay, I actually don't know anything about this. Insider information, the Busztábla is basically, that was a guy who lived in a rural town and there was no bus sign in the town. That's why he couldn't come to the meetup. Basically, that's it. And he was memed about this because this is just absolutely ridiculous. Coaching made 90% of Hungary's potential top players quit before they hit 3-digit. Okay, I guess I'm kind of guilty in this. There was some aspiring top players back in the day who had some really good potential, and some people, including myself, mostly me actually, were like, scouting these talents. Like, I'm gonna make him the fucking cookies of Hungary. Let's fucking go. But whenever I did that, like coached the person, like coaching kind of meant that I always try to give them maps that were outside of their comfort zone. Like if the guy was really good at no mode, I would give him stuff that he was bad at. Like if he was good at high BPM, high AR, I would give them reading maps and so on. And basically that made a lot of players quit before that time because they felt shitty about it. So one of them said that they felt so shit that they are so bad actually when they thought that they are so good. Of course, they were very talented in the things that they were good at, but realizing that they had so much gaps in their skill made them sad. They didn't like that, and OS is kind of this positive dopamine loop. That's why you keep playing. But if you don't get the positive dopamine, then why would you play? And basically that was it. In other words, verto psychologically abused upcoming players. Kind of. But that was not my intention. I just wanted the best for them. I just wanted to make them good. I just wanted to make them successful. OWC 2011 would have been won by Hungary if Kudaimato had not smoked. So Kudaimato was a loose cannon, let's just say that. He was a good player, especially at his time. And in 2011 we were against Japan. And the guy just rage quitted. He just went and stood up, went for the smoke while the OWC match was going on. And Higurush was the only one playing against 3 Japanese players. I think the issue was that he didn't assess the map, so he just went out for a smoke, got fucking... So it wasn't even like that they were losing and they were just in a very bad position, or that he was missing in random places. He just didn't assess the map, so he just went for the smoke because obviously that's what you're gonna do in an OWC match. Still proud of Higurush for that 1v3. Yes, that takes guts to go up against the impossible Japan, no less, and just take the L like a fucking champ. You can take an L like a champ sometimes. So arzenos víz in Hungarian means arsenic water. Water with arsenic. It's a meme among some of the Hungarian players who live in a town where there's a lot of drinkable wells. So there's like some wells around the city that give kind of like a spring water. Recently, in a few years ago, the government, signed these wells. Apparently their arsenic levels are above the legal limit. So it's not recommended to use it as a drinking water. Of course, the boomers don't care, and I don't care either. But whenever I'm Sonok, I just got to have that arsenic water sometimes because the taste. It's my fucking childhood, man. Don't take away my taste. We drink Coke and all that, for God's sake. How bad some arsenic could be. But anyway, basically that's the theory, that a lot of players came from that small town. And it must be the arsenic water made some of us autistic, and that made us gravitate towards this game. Puncik. So that was a very old thing. That was a Hungarian guy who was another loose cannon. It was more about his chat shenanigans. Puncik means vaginas, basically. Not even vaginas, like pussies. I guess you can translate it to pussies. And this guy would go online, say this, like pussies. That was his way of greeting the chat, saying hi. And he would be silenced by our dear moderator, who would hand slap the person into silence. And this guy would just get silenced all the time. Like every 2 weeks, he would say something in 3 lines and just get silenced again. He was that kind of guy. Rikiké mennyire aludni. So Rick is a player, he's a top 50 Hungarian in the Hungarian rankings, fairly active in the community as well. And sometimes on the voice chat, his mother would barge into his room and be like, "Rick, go to sleep." But of course, this sublime phrase was, "Rikiké mennyire aludni?" And the same tone, the same speed, the same phrase every single night. And it was very funny because he didn't go to sleep, obviously. How's your mom, by the way, Rick? But anyway, DS3D is Time Freeze FC. So the guy was like a big shit poster. He decided it's time to quit. He just basically full modded Time Freeze. Or was it just no mod? It was hidden. Alright. So it was a hidden Time Freeze FC. Did the classic cheat on Time Freeze. And after that it was memed kind of that he was the only Hungarian player who FC Time Freeze. Basically that's it. Nothing really too exciting. The upsides down smiley. Oh god. So that was a guy who suddenly he started making very good scores. It was kind of obvious that he cheated, but some people like myself didn't really. One day he just blew his cover by someone noticed that there was an upsides down smiley in one of his replays. This score was kind of familiar. This kind of smiley was kind of familiar to a person, which was Neliel. Not Nalian, Neliel. So Neliel was a top player, German I think, who almost FC'd this map. He had a 1 miss hard rock play. And the guy took this hard rock play, turned it into a no mod play, replay submitted. And basically that's how he was caught. And that was a long witch hunt before he was actually caught. But after he was caught, a lot of players just, got disappointed because they thought he was legit. Like Hungary's new star. Very sad. The strawberry jam method. Oh, some of the older ones may remember this. It was just a simple chat conversation back in #Hungarian, but it was so fucking outrageous that some of us still remember it to this day. So that was a guy who said that he smears strawberry jam to his mouse to help the mouse glide better, more smoothly. And everyone thought was that this is like just a joke. It's very funny. It's a nice joke. Very funny. We laugh. But apparently it wasn't a joke. And he got offended that he joked so much about it. Like, we kept bringing this up in the chat, that he would strawberry jam his mouse. That's whenever he posted a score. Was it with the strawberry jam? And after a couple of times he was like mad about it. Like, stop bringing this up already. Like stop it. Like, that's when the strawberry jam method was born, because it wasn't a joke. He did it. Now let's go to the final 2. Oh boy, we have so many, so many here. Unsubmitted CTEC maps. Starting strong, I guess. Some mappers, some players, some Hungarian members of the community have some unsubmitted maps that feature, let's just say, kind of imagery and song choice that is reminiscent of a time when certain mustached guy was in power in a certain country. Oh, and pattern choice as well. Let's not forget about it. The pattern choice either. If you dig deep enough, you might be able to find these unsubmitted forbidden maps. Closet trans players. I don't think this is like a Hungarian specific one. It's just Hungary is a very hostile place to trans people, I guess, and some people wouldn't dare to come out. Basically, that's it. Nothing really deeper than that. Verto Docs stream. Oh boy. Okay, so that was a time when I doxed myself on stream. I was living in a, I rented a flat, and my landlord just called me that, hey, by the way, you just came here, right? So let's talk about business. And I let her in, and I didn't mute the stream. So she was asking stuff like a mobile phone number, where I live, what's my address on my ID, and all that. And I was just, telling her all that because it's business. But the stream was still on, so I pretty much doxed myself. Bo's second side. Let's go to the more interesting ones. Bo's second side. Emu's true identity. Do not search. Well, Emu is, the mapper guy. The finger control guy.
Finger kontrollja rankját messze felülmúlja.
We never saw his face. Like, only a handful of people know his true identity. Even the people who knew him for like 5+ years don't know his true identity. His true face. And, well, that's basically it. You mustn't search for this, because what you find might make you regret not even searching for it, but even being born. The last layer, the Rick deep fried woved galaxied entry. Now this is some real shit. This is actually going to be Legek and Arahu's Epiphany score was not cheated. So Epiphany was the map that they used for their account suicide that we mentioned higher. And the deepest layer is that the score wasn't cheated. They were legit. The DT Hidden Hardrock score that they did was legit. Now, is it? Moving on. King Long 21 was legit. So King Long's journey is a tragic one. It is truly a wasted potential, because after all these times, he was legit. Some other prominent members of the community went and spectated this guy, seeing his scores. It was just unreal. Maybe this was the true #1 Hungarian player. But alas, he was too good for this game. He made better and better scores each day, and many people thought that he was cheating, probably out of envy. He posted his scores so proud of himself, but the trash Hungarian players who just couldn't cope with this guy being so good, they removed him completely. And he is no more now. He is no more. Anyway, moving on. O's Hungarian Facebook group is a... Rick is an abortion survivor. So, this is just complete meme. We like to meme with Rick because he's just a character, The guy who was screaming a couple of minutes ago about the easy hidden score. The reason why he's like that is because he's an abortion survivor. That's it. Highest PP score on a prostitute's ass. I left it last because this is the most outrageous, obviously. So it's not a forbidden knowledge because it has been posted on Reddit and a lot of people know about this. But unlike some of the other entries, this is 100% true. That was a guy who went to a prostitute, put his laptop on the prostitute's ass while she was on 4 legs, and he recorded himself playing on said prostitute's ass, Hidomari Nota, which he double tapped. So basically, there exists a highest PP score on a prostitute's ass, and it's quite high. Isn't that a video? That is a video. There is a video. You might find it. I'm not going to link it, obviously. It was removed from Reddit, of course, but people were like, is this actually real? For sure, it is. It is. It is true. From what we gathered the information, it's like, yeah, it would be harder to fake this than to actually do this. But don't worry, he wasn't like an asshole about it. He let the girl play some normal difficulties as well. Maybe we should include that as well. So the OS profile of the hooker whose highest prostitute says PP score is on was made on. So yeah, that's it. That was the lore of the Hungarian OS community. There's a lot more, obviously. There are some really, really deep forbidden knowledge before the time I even came to the community, because I joined in 2012 and I started playing actively and participating in the community in 2013. So before that is basically lost knowledge, because we don't have active players really anymore from that era. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. So if you managed to stay until the end of the video, well then, congratulations, it was a really long one, and well, it took a lot of time to cut those parts, it was tedious. But anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for my Patreons, you can see here, and well, yeah, see you next time.